Welcome to Sci-Fi Book Check. This week we'll be doing spoilers for the book How Much for a Planet? Right, where to begin with
Yes.
this?
I mean, starting at the start is fair enough. But
I don't think we've got enough time to record, but yeah, okay.
but yeah, definitely. As I said in the previous video, it doesn't take itself very seriously. This book. It starts off as you might expect with a typical opening on what you might think is a Star Trek episode. You've got the crew that come and sit down to breakfast. And I'm quite taken. I've got to admit,
In the officers' quarters.
yeah. But I spent so long rereading that bit because I was quite taken with how each crew member's got a different order. Each crew member's got a different preference. The fact that Scotty has oatcakes and kippers, and it's like it's borderline racist.
Yes.
He probably does. And then Kirk's got like the almost typical American breakfast. It's like bacon, eggs, orange juice, which happens to be blue.
Yeah.
Was that a reference? I didn't pick up on that.
We never really get a. I think it's just. I think that things are going wrong because on the Klingon ship we also find other food articles are different colours.
Yes.
And he never really gets a payoff.
I was just wondering whether
it just
that was
seems to be a
reference.
bit odd thing. It might be, but I don't. I didn't get what it was from.
Yeah, it went over my head.
Yeah.
Because the orange juice was blue. In fact, anything that was supposed to be categorized as orange was shifted into the blue spectrum.
I thought it was just setting up that, there are things going wrong. There are, it's strangeness is afoot.
Yes. Almost like if you were watching it on the screen, it would be like a Dutch angle to show. Oh, this is kind of odd. Yeah. But yeah, the next bit that I've got, well, I mean, it's still with regards to that opening scene. There's like a parallel scene with the Federation prospecting ship, which was funny because it struck me as funny that they happened to mention that the I think it's the first officer who's a giant bird person.
Oh yeah.
And he's sitting there eating a mushroom omelette, and the captain specifically goes, "That's a bit cannibalistic." But yeah, he's a giant red bird.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but after our recent thing with the Destiny books and me categorizing the Titan's doctor as basically Barney the dinosaur, the only person I could see in my mind was Big Bird.
So I read version.
Yes. Like Big Bird crossed with fucking Elmo. Anyway, that's not the point. I'm just making myself making up weird imagery. But it was interesting to see that the Klingons, in a parallel with the Federation ship having their breakfast, the Klingons had their breakfast as well.
And
the Klingons have toast.
Yes, that's weird stuff with the Klingon cuisine, shall we say?
But I mean,
does another one have orange juice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's some sort of fruit juice.
Oh yeah.
And they say about the Klingon digestive system processes sugars quicker. It's just like I can understand that because them being a particularly energetic type of species, the idea that it would process sugars quicker and be converted to energy faster would kind of make sense for that type of that type of environment and their type of outlook, cultural outlook. Cultural outlook shouldn't really have any.
All I'm thinking is you're going to put that clip of Worf, aren't you? Prune juice is a warrior's drink.
You see? It's an earth drink. Prune juice.
Warrior's drink.
Actually, that makes really good sense now that I think about it. But that's my point. You know, Worf never knew any Klingon drink outside of blood wine, and then when he's introduced it by Guinan, it's like, oh my god, this is amazing. But now we know that Klingons drink fruit juice.
Yeah.
For their breakfast. And it's like,
so he just come across as odd, yeah.
Yeah. But they're not typical Klingons. They're certainly not the TNG Klingons. They are closer to the original series Klingons in some respects.
Yeah.
But I think it's the writers' take on the Klingons that has been inspired by, but not necessarily follows on the way that the show took the Klingons. Certainly not the way that Gene took the Klingons. But it did, like I say, it did amuse me that the Klingons have toast and eggs, and not just, live
it's
grubs.
different coloured eggs, but yeah.
Yeah, but even that was identified as being that's not a normal.
Yeah.
But the security officer at the same time just goes, and then starts eating.
Because I think it's setting you up for, like, this is going to be weird.
Mm.
And then you get on board the Prospector.
Yes.
And then the ship's computer is introduced. And you're like, yeah, I thought you said weird, not utterly crazy.
Yes. That is literally what I wrote. Yeah, it's like my character notes for the computer of the Jefferson Randolph Smith seems sentient. Also fucking insane.
Yes. I to be honest, if he had just been about him and the Vulcan,
yes,
I would have read the whole thing.
Yeah, but
just the Vulcan science officer, was she? And
was it a she? I thought it was a he. Taval,
I thought it was.
Well, I've got.
I don't know.
Taval, a Vulcan science officer, but
I think it was female, but I could easily be wrong. But yeah, it was just there. Because, I mean, she comes across as rather
not typical Vulcan.
Yes. I mean, did you have any nitpicks?
I couldn't find any, and it's not that there's possibly that. It's not that they're.
I mean, yeah, it's not really a story you could nitpick just because it's so.
Yeah, it's difficult.
It's
difficult to nitpick because of the comedic elements.
Yeah.
I mean, even from a technical.
Starts off with inflatable spaceship.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's like, yeah, okay, sure.
I mean,
and from then on, you kind of on board for whatever it does.
But even from a technical standpoint, I mean, I don't think from just the science elements of, or I'm not going to call it pseudoscience, the science fiction elements of the Trek universe, the tech elements of it. The informatic where you've got someone hitting a chunk of dilithium with a hammer and presumably it exploding in his face.
Yes.
I don't think that works.
I did feel like, aperture science.
Yeah.
I'm the man who's going to burn your house down with the lemon. Oh, I like this guy.
But then that was within that informatic, which was almost specifically designed to reference like the old 50s educational films. It's like The Atom and You. And I actually really like that.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I know what they're going for there. Because the informatic It was a Federation informatic. It specifically mentioned Federation production facilities.
Yeah.
It was a Federation company that produced something called the Targa X planetary excavator. And it's supposed to be a Federation earth mover, a Federation mining excavator. And it's like, yep, the Federation uses these, and this specific animatic actually has we've got to be careful of the evil Klingons coming out of the Klingon neutral zone, or something to that effect. And then literally next chapter, the Klingons have got 6 of these excavators in the cargo hold of one of their survey ships, and it's like, how did they get hold of the Federation equipment? And I can only think that someone has obviously sold this equipment to the Klingon Empire, and the fact that the Klingon Empire have just gone, yeah, actually, we can't do any better than that. We might as well buy them in.
Yeah.
It's like the Russians buying American submarines. Just going, yeah, actually.
All the, jerry cans.
Yeah, exactly. It was one of the... It's an interesting sort of little...
Yeah. But there's lots of, little weird things. Well, not weird, but, interesting sort of comments. Every now and again. You think the book's trying to make something, but it seems to be it's raised, dropped, and goes on to something else.
Yeah.
Quickly. Well, that was another thing. When the nitpicks I had was, one, it's not really a nitpick, but when they find out there's dilithium on this planet, the Klingons go back to get an excavator from a star base or something.
And a specialist.
Yeah, but near the border zone. But for some reason, the Enterprise goes back to Earth.
That was a bit of a weird one. Back to Starbase 1.
Yeah. Picks up some stuff and then goes all the way back.
Yes.
And they're still on the same time scale.
Yeah. That was a
so
little
Klingon
bit...
loaders must be really slow.
Yes. No,
but yeah,
I confess I didn't pick up on it. It's fair.
I just noticed whatever, and just carried on. But yeah, also, they still have credits. Like, everyone has credits on, a bank account apparently.
Well,
because Uhura's got credits, and they mention the balloon ships.
Yes.
There's so many credits. Yeah. So it's well, who's paying for this?
That's
where is the money being generated to go into that account? So the Federation can pay a company to.
That's always
produce.
That could be a video on its own.
Oh yes.
How the hell the Federation economy works, because it's never been pinned down. It's never been really explored in any depth, or any sort of depth in Alpha canon, certainly.
But it goes on about independent or Federation linked companies making stuff, and also in the bit about it where it's describing this stuff, going, remember to tell your Federation agents, keep up the tax reductions on us. It's the Federation taxes private companies. That's how it makes its money.
I don't know.
But yeah, this novel is to itself, so it's very hard to pull stuff from it because it does feel in its own little world.
Yeah.
Its own little bubble.
Like I say, the idea of a Federation economy could be videos that could be an analysis just literally on its own, and it doesn't play a big enough part really within the book for it to have its own section. It is one of those things that is just mentioned. Like you say, Uhura does actually have some sort of finance, personal finance.
And the Klingons do.
Yeah. And the Klingons and the Federation apparently
have the same sort of currency. Well, because they both have credits.
It's some sort of...
Because the locals have different currency.
Yeah.
And they say, we'll convert it into, Federation currency. And it's this. And the Klingon pays for Uhura's bauble.
Yeah. It's
so he has... Yeah, so you're... So he has... Well, it's a MacGuffin, but...
Yes.
he has credits as well.
Mm.
So the Klingons and the Federation share currency of some sort, or it's a universal.
I don't think they're necessarily the same. I don't think it's necessarily the same currency, but it has a very similar conversion rate from.
Maybe. Well, yeah, it doesn't really go into that. Like, we're just speculating on it.
Yes.
Speculating on something that probably shouldn't be speculated on.
Yes, it features for literally a moment in the book. But it's, there's little moments like breakfast. The simple act of breakfast that can just, grab hold of you and just, I can talk for 15 minutes on the officers having breakfast, and then it's like, oh, and then this happens.
Yeah, but we'll get to a planet.
Yeah.
Because the planet, it's, imagine one big, well, hopefully you've read it. It's sort of one big stage play, and they're put on many productions at a time.
Yes. I mean, that's giving away...
Well, that's giving away spoilers.
I know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you first
it does come across like that as you're reading it.
When I was first reading it, I was like, Jesus Christ, it's the planet of Disney.
Yes. Because that was the other thing. Because, I described it, it was, Pratchett crashing with Star Trek or something like that.
Yes.
I was thinking, that's it. It's of high point. It's, I wouldn't say low point, but it's more sane points. Felt like the crew of the Enterprise and the crew of a Klingon ship decided to visit Disneyland.
Not even...
At its sanest points.
Yeah.
Well, it's just and then everything in between. It's, okay, this is mad.
There's an episode of Family Guy when Stewie and Brian warp into a different dimension, and it's the Disney dimension. That's what it felt like to me. And they beam down to the planet, and all of a sudden, all the natives just burst into song.
Yes. I mean, did you recognise? I think most of the songs are supposed to be sung to a beat of a song we should know.
I recognised Rawhide.
Oh, yeah.
Backup camera rolling.
Rolling. Rawhide. You started
Good start.
Oh, yeah, that's the most obvious one to recognise, because that's when I fully... But some of the others, I'm like, I think I know this. Because I think the robot in the pub is doing Cabaret.
Going to bolt me.
The one that annoyed me was Monochrome.
Yeah.
And I was going, I know this tune, I cannot place it. I don't know it's up, but I'm loving it. I don't know it's up. And the same with what is it? Tyrant one. I did it my tyrannical way. I said I did it my way.
It could be.
All right, what's the tune I need?
I'm going to be honest, I was seeing hyenas walking past, like, Be Prepared on Scar and Pride Rock, because I'd fully gotten into the Disney thing rather than seeing it as the, what do you call it, vaudevilles?
Yeah.
But,
and there was a few, like, big band stuff and, like, other weird songs going on. There's probably a few Gilbert and Sullivan ones in there, at least probably one.
Possibly.
But, yeah.
But, like I say, I think I got more of the Disney vibe from it, because when they introduced Princess Dee, and Princess Dee comes into essentially the girls' room, and it's the ambassador, Sanchez.
Yeah, Sanchez and, was it Rish?
Yes, and Rish is the Klingon first officer.
Yeah.
And they, for some reason, end up just going to a room and getting shit-faced on brandy. And then it introduces Princess Dee, who's supposedly one of the characters from, rather, she's supposed to be a member of, like, the royal family of one of these regions on the planet.
Yeah.
That's the character that she's introduced as. But then she starts singing this tune, and all I'm thinking is, it's fucking Charlie from Has Been Hotel. At the best, it's like Disney princess vibes. But, you know, it was a Disney princess song, and this is why I went Disney, and you've obviously gotten the references, which are more...
Yeah, I went a bit more, like, before Disney. But I don't know, I think it helped because they introduced Queen Victoria.
Yes.
He's like, yeah, okay, sure.
But Captain Kirk just goes, Jesus Christ, it's Queen Victoria. How a diplomat, ladies and gentlemen.
And then they go, oh yes, Kirk is obviously related to a Roman general. So he can lie down to eat.
What does the T stand for? Tiberius. He was a Roman emperor. Oh, okay. Kirk is related to. And when they get to
it's Caligula.
I've got to remember something that made me giggle.
It's just madness.
But that was the first, genuinely, the Caligula point was the first point that I just put the book down and went, what the fuck am I reading?
It is very much. Yeah, if you're on board for that, carry on reading. I'll tell you what, we'll get on to the groups, because I reckon there's like 6 groups in it. So we'll go down like, I mean, do you have an idea what the 6 groups are, or do you want me to quickly go over them?
From my point of view, the 6 groups, thinking 6 groups, but you've got...
Well, tell you what, which was your favourite?
Oh, that's a hard one, because the earliest ones that are introduced admittedly seem like they have the most legs, but then they disappear from the rest of the plot until much closer to the end. And that was Kirk, Captain Caden, and what was his name? Blackstone?
Blackstone?
Blackwood. Pete Blackwood.
Oh, yeah, Pete. Yeah. That one with Dee Dee.
Yes, Dee Dee's sort of counterpart.
Yeah.
And then you've got Charlie, Rish, and Princess Dee Dee. So
I would group them together.
Yeah.
Because they are essentially the same sort of act.
Yeah.
They're like, 2 sides of the same coin.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. I mean, I would have put those as 2 separate sort of working towards that common. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from. But they they're introduced. They do the whole Disney princess, even a Disney Prince song. But then they kind of disappear for a long time. Yes, they kind of disappear for a long time within the narrative, and it's almost like oh shit, I forgot that was happening. And then you've got What was it?
You've got Sulu,
McCoy.
Yeah, McCoy and what was it?
Ascade and
Escada and Mammoth.
Yeah. And Ascade is the
And they're in
chief
their like
engineer from the Klingon ship.
post-apocalyptic
Yes.
world.
I mean, post-apocalyptic world. I was amused as all hell when Sulu. He was like, they beam down an ATV, and it's a Klingon, Klingon equivalent of an SUV, but they think it's the Klingons are like, it's a beam down one of our sports utility vehicles, and Sulu's like, that's a tank. And he's like, you like it? Like proud parent. And they go, I saw that as a treasure hunt rather than as a post-apocalypse story. I was getting Indiana Jones vibes, but Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, which is
maybe
it was
like it's definitely like or like what Indiana Jones pulling from, like the serials.
Yeah. The adventure serials,
Yeah.
But
but then there's the other group, which is Scotty. Oh God,
I loved it.
Scotty, Chekhov, what was it? Korth and Maglus.
Yes,
They probably had, I would say, the most sanest outing up until a point. Because then it was like, it's mostly normal and tame compared to what's going on with the others.
It's the reference they make to Trouble with Tribbles.
Yeah.
You got Scotty and Maglus just getting more and more irate, almost coming to blows. And Chekhov and Korth, was it?
Yeah.
Chekhov and Korth like standing on the side. It's like, we know how this is going. Don't want to have to punch you.
Yeah. Should we go? And they're trying to sneak out. Oh, yeah, and they just get caught. Like, well, it was nice meeting you. Then they just go and play a round of golf. It's just, what the hell is going on?
Yes.
When you think they can't,
I challenge
stereotype Scotty enough. It's like, I hope he's playing golf.
I challenge you to the ancient weapon. I challenge you, and we will use the ancient weapon of the Scots. Chekhov, fetch my golf clubs.
What? Yes.
Again. What? What am I reading?
But I've got another. There's Prog and Uhura.
Yes, that was.
I mean, to me, it's
funny.
My favourite. Just because, hey, if you're going to be in a death trap, oh God, watching House of Usher. Yeah, that's the way to go. I wouldn't even try to get out. It's just like, I'm watching a movie. Sorry. And like all the references. I was like, I know this reference. As soon as they went into the theatre and they were playing Monty's Funk, they didn't even need to say I knew what it was. Just from that line, I was like, Monty's Funk. But I will say I did have a nitpick about that point. Because they say they sit down and watch it. Like the last few minutes. But they do mention that, what is it? Spoiler for Maltese Falcon. In fact, go watch Maltese Falcon. It's a brilliant film. Come back.
Please come back.
Go watch Maltese Falcon. That's more important. It says Wilma kills Gutman. That does not happen in the film. I think that happens in the book. I haven't read the book. But that does not happen in the film. And I don't even think it's implied in the film.
Right.
So that was my only nitpick. because it was like, whoa. Wilma does not kill Gutman. Gutman lives. But anyway. Which means absolutely nothing to
No,
you.
it doesn't mean it means absolutely nothing to me. But
Yeah.
I'm also conscious of the fact that Brooks making several comments about, do you have a copy of this with the one line missing? So
that's when we were back in the shop. Yeah,
mm.
God, it's very much blink and you'll miss a reference or something. He's silly, but I did like, especially when they got on handcuffed together and stuff, and they were sort of quoting 39 Steps and all Hitchcock stuff. It was just like,
Yes, Proke. The idea, like I say, the idea of a Klingon who's gotten completely attached to Federation films.
Yeah, Federation films, which Federation people don't even watch.
Yes.
Because it's, 200 and 300 years out of date.
But this would be the stuff that Voyager would class as like ancient. Like a Ford truck is classified as ancient according to Voyager.
But no, I did like, I think those parts I liked the most between her and Proke. They were the best team for me.
But you were getting all the references, whereas like I say, the Scotty just running the golf course. It was like, okay, this is just.
I mean, would you say that was your favourite group?
I would have said that was my favourite group. I also did like the Kirk and the Kirk and correspond like the counterpart with Charlie and
For me, that was the part I liked the least. I think it went on far too long. I understand what they were doing, the comedy of errors and everything, but my God, it just felt like it dragged to me. But anyway, the other group I was thinking of was it Orvay and Fed?
Yes.
I really liked it. They were my second favourite group.
They seemed. The weird thing was, again, it's the same with the group with Kirk and Sanchez. For me, it was like they kept cutting back to Orvay and Thed. It was like, oh yeah, they're still in this story.
No, I really like them. I mean, true, I don't know how they got away with some of the things they did.
Yes.
Like sneaking about on the Enterprise, being beamed up. The Enterprise group, they've beamed up some life forms.
Yes. But the Enterprise can't find them.
Yeah. Doesn't do a sensor sweep or anything. And, it just... I don't know, I could overlook it, but yeah, I did like their parts.
But they were completely against the idea of, we're not doing Plan C.
Yes.
And then they go with Plan C anyway by just the category of cock-ups that they do actually do. So it's almost like...
But I do like, because they're trying to do their own story.
Yes.
From stories they've read, which are inside the book itself.
That's another thing I've got to admit. Because I put them down as characters, because I put them down as special mention, like McMain and Libra. And when you're first reading this, it's like, this is actually kind of cool. I'm kind of getting into this.
I mean, it's a completely different novel.
It's a novel within the book that this character is reading. And it's like, I'm kind of getting into this. I wanted to read kind of more about them. They were kind of cool. I was properly getting into the whole, what happens next? Does McMain actually fight off Richter or whatever his name was? He was like, well, guess we'll put that down and get to work. It's like, but I wanted to learn what happened.
We essentially did, because, that is the kid's story.
Mm-hmm.
They are sort of doing one of those.
Yes, but like I said, it was just.
Although I did like the kid go, no, I don't want to be Libra.
I don't want to be Libra, yes. I want to be Aramis.
Yeah. Oh, that made me laugh.
Why do you want to be Aramis? He's a bishop. Because he lives through the whole thing.
Yeah. You make a very strong point.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I loved them too. I was just like, yep, I could read a whole book about them.
But I think I could read a whole book about McMahon and Libra. That was the it did seem really interesting. The reasoning behind the planet, the reasoning behind the whole thing, like the way that the planet was, because as you come to the resolution, there's this whole thing of, yep, we're this big dramatic group, and we do this, and we've set up all this equipment to try and hide the fact that we're sitting on essentially a mine of.
Well, they weren't. They just found this planet at random. They went down to it and went, this is nice. It's got some static, so it stops, signals getting out and stuff like that. This is perfect for what we can do. We can just
They didn't realise what they got.
And then they found out, oh no, it's dilithium.
Yes.
They're like, oh, at some point, someone's going to come along.
Yes.
So he needs a plan.
Mm-hmm. And that happens to be planned comedy.
Yes. Which is basically embarrass the people so much that they leave you alone. Or sort of negotiate and leave you alone.
I mean, as plans go, it's a weird one.
It's an interesting one. And if it wasn't for the Organians, I'm sure
the Klingons would have.
Well, no, at the end, Kirk would have just contacted the Klingon ship and said, the only way to be sure is nuke them from orbit.
Actually, I do have one nitpick. The Federation Council, obviously the Federation Council and the Klingons are both making a claim on the planet, and it's the Organian Treaty that has to come into effect. The best person who makes the best case then gets the rights to develop. But there's a whole thing about it's like 15,000 people, and they make a point of saying, well, 15,000 people, that's not going to make any sort of issues as far as our development and our mining rights go. We'll be able to work around them perfectly fine. And all I was thinking was, Star Trek Insurrection had like 200 people living on that planet, and they didn't think that they could work around them.
But Insurrection was about the location of the planet and everything.
Mm-hmm. I know.
And they would take out, not just mine out something.
But it was like the whole thing with the sonar.
Yeah.
They were very much pushing that antagonism. I think there's a point, I think possibly Red Letter Media makes a point of it. It's like, well, it's a planet. If you've got 200 people on a planet, that's less probably than a village.
Yeah.
There is no way that they are taking over an entire flipping continent. There is no reason you couldn't settle someone on the other side of the planet. And then, actually, that's a good point. There's no Prime Directive violation. I know it must have been
their own ex-Federation.
Yeah,
they're not natives to that planet. They are colonists.
I'm talking about in.
That's what I mean. They're not colonists. They're not natives. They're colonists.
Yeah. Okay. In which case, yeah, that's fair.
Because they said they worked at the Federation Drama School, wherever at the end.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. But Insurrection, it was that whole thing about it's like, if you've got 1,500 people aren't going to make a dent, and they're trying to mine out dilithium, I can't understand why in Insurrection it was said. That was the comparison that I was drawing, because it's like 15,000 people. Well, that they're not going to get in the way. It's like 200 people stopped.
I mean, so to build on, well, to take a tangent on your point, which is apt for his book. Also, there's God knows how many people on the planet, yet there seems to be only 5 people who can act. I mean, what is it? Pam, she's in every kitchen.
Yes.
Oh, God, I do feel sorry for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, like throughout, there was also aspects of Monty Python. So, some of the odd tangents it would turn and just go, okay, we're doing this, I guess.
Yeah. But this is why
You're not going to barter?
I think this is why I couldn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
But it's
More
fun.
It does what it's intending to do.
Yeah. And yeah, it's one of those, I couldn't stay mad at it. I was still, one of the things, I've mentioned Lower Decks a couple of times,
Yeah.
and like I say, admittedly, Lower Decks has grown on me since the opening. No, I'm serious. In terms of new Trek, I have a lot of problems with the new Star Trek since Discovery. One of the things that I will say is that there's a couple of shining points in that. In the Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and there's Lower Decks. And Lower Decks didn't start great for me.
Mm.
Some of the characters whammed the absolute shit out of me. But it grew on me, and it got much better as time went on. And this genuinely wouldn't be out of place as a Lower Deck story, because it's that type of humor, and it's that type of shenanigans that would absolutely be perfect for that series. And I think that's the reason, like, the longer I was reading it, it was just like this is fun. I don't care that this is absolutely mad. I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm going to keep reading.
See, that's for me, I liked it up until it got to the Kirk sort of resolution. That whole bit in the lobby, that lasted a bit too long for me, and to end like Strange Love was supposed to end, it just felt like, there was a reason Kubrick didn't do it, and I kind of agree with him. It doesn't work. I mean, it probably works better than Strange Love, but I don't know. I wasn't having as much fun at that point in the novel. So for me, it started off nice, then it got more and more fun, and then there was a drop off.
Yeah. I could appreciate what they did at the end with Kirk, and like I say, by that point I was too invested to stop.
Same with me.
You know, it was still fun. I didn't have so much of an issue with that bit of the story. For me, I didn't get as many references as yourself, but even, I don't know, I would have said the weakest for me would have been the bit with McCoy, Sulu, and them out in Indiana Jones territory. But even that, for me, I was
I kind of liked it.
I still kind of liked it.
It's got one of the best songs, but yeah.
Yeah. But I still enjoyed that enough that it wasn't, even if I say it was the weakest, it was still a strong piece, and it was still fun.
That was nearest to like a schlock movie of sort of the 80s.
Yeah.
So overall, It's good.
Yep, absolutely recommend. I
The craziness is contained within one novel,
yes,
and there's a lot of craziness.
it's not something that has a serious. You can't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Don't even try to take it seriously. It's just fun. It can't say fairer than that,
Yeah.
honestly. Right. What are we doing next
What?
time?
Well, you shall pick the book. So next week we won't be reading. Okay.
Looking so impressed there.
Yeah. I gave him the truth. Pick anything.
Yeah, you go with the truth to pick anything. I figured this would be an interesting.
I shall
interesting
learn from my
collection.
mistakes.
Yes, Halo Fall of Reach.
So look forward to that.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
I know what I was going to pick. Where the fuck did I put it, though? We are still recording, aren't we?
Yep.
Very hard. Is this going to end up on the cutting room floor, or are you just going to take the piss out of me?
I would never take the piss out of you.